Okay, so good day. So I'll be discussing the second topic for midterms. So analyzing the macro environment. Okay. I think you already know about the macro environment. Siyempre, kapag macro, we know na it is more on uh, external, the wide scope. Okay. Uh, Wide scope or larger forces outside the company. Okay, so ito yung mga forces that can affect the business and its customers. And here's something important, no? These are the things that a company usually cannot directly control. For example, a company cannot simply say, okay, starting tomorrow, babaan natin yung inflation. Siyempre, hindi naman pwedeng ganun, di ba? Hindi mo naman yan makokontrol. Kasi maraming factors ang nag ah, nagda-drive bakit tumataas o bumababa yung presyo ng bilihin or nakaka-affect sa inflation mismo. But what a company can do is monitor what is happening, understand how those changes affect the market, and then adjust its strategy. So, in this topic, we are going to learn, how marketers look at the bigger picture, not just what is happening inside the company, but what is happening in society, the economy, technology, government, and the natural environment. So, and before we go into the different forces, let's first talk about some marketers encounter all the time. Ano yun? Ano yung nakaka-affect sa lahat? Change. We all know naman na there is a saying, di ba? Nothing is permanent but change. So it's irony, di ba? Wala daw permanent, ang permanent lang is change. So bilang marketers, yun yung kailangang aralin ninyo. Aralin natin. Okay? So we have fad, trend, or mega trend. So ano ba yung three things na yun? I think we already discussed that before, fad, trend, and mega trend. So, just because something is popular doesn't automatically mean it is a trend. Madalas, ang iisipan, uy, trending yung ganito, kanya. Madalas, ina-associate natin ang trending sa mga social media or viral video sa TikTok. Okay, but we are, alisin nyo muna yung ganong concept. Let's focus dun sa scope ng trend, fad trend, and mega trend about marketing. Okay? So again, hindi porque something is popular is trend na iyon. When you say fad, it is short-lived, unpredictable. No? A fad is something that becomes popular very quickly, but it is also short-lived and unpredictable. Kagaya niyan, yung, o sige, sabihin na natin, para mag-gets ninyo kaagad, yung mga, ah, ano tawag dito? Yung mga viral videos ng TikTok, 'di ba? Pag ginawa na yung ano na yun, ginawa na yung sige, huwag kayong malito, ayaw kong sabihin kasi yung term na trend. Pero in layman's term, ang tinatawag nyo trending na video palagi ang lagi nyo sinasabi. But that is just a fad. Okay, kasi pag nagawa na yon, yung nagawa na yung clip na yon, yung challenge na yon, tapos na, wala na, 'di ba? Yung makeup challenge na 'yan. Tapos na, hindi na siya na-embed. No, hindi na-embed sa ating consumer behavior. Okay? What else? Ano pa ba yung mga fad? Siguro fad, labubu. Maybe. Yung mga labubu thingy, mga ganyan. Anyway, something that is, yun nga, short-lived. Madali lang siyang mawala. Okay? Siguro, ewan ko kung bata pa kayo noon or what, nauso noon mga way back 2012, 2013. Hindi ko alam kung pinanganak na kayo noon, yung mga lumbands. Tapos, mga trend na lumban kits. Kahit matanda, bata, gumagawa ng accessories made of lumbands. Diba? So, that's an example of fad kasi tapos na after nun, siguro umano lang siya ng a few months, umatok lang siya ang few months, tapos wala na, nag-decline na yung demand. Okay? So everybody wants it, everybody is posting about it, everybody is buying it. And then suddenly, wala na. Yun yung fad. So, uh, you can definitely make money from a fad, but the problem is that the timing is unpredictable. Okay? Ano pa? Ah, next one is a trend. Ito pala yung sinabi ko, alabubu. Anyway, so next one is trend. So a trend is more durable direction with momentum. So unlike fad, a trend doesn't disappear immediately. It gives us a more reliable indication of where consumer behavior may be going. So for example, the increasing interest in healthier food choices or low sugar drinks can be considered a trend because it represents a more sustained change in preference. Okay? So mas mahaba yung ano, mas parang yung duration ng pagpe-patronize ng mga ganong products. Okay? Next one is megatrend. So this one is much bigger. A megatrend is a slow forming but very powerful social, economic, political, or technological shift that can influence behavior for 7 to 10 years or even longer. Note that, 7 to 10 years. So the easiest way to remember is, ano, syempre si fad, short-lived, yung trend, hindi masyadong, medyo mas mahaba, medyo mas tumatatak. Okay? And, yeah, again, sustained direction. Okay? Fad, mabilis sumikat, mabilis mawala. Trend, sustained direction. Megatrend, long-term, large-scale change. So megatrend is not only long-term, it's a larger scale, larger in scope. Okay? And our Philippine examples make this easier. So in this slide, we find Labubu blind boxes as an example of a fad. For trends, we have things like oat milk, yep, plant-based alternatives, and low sugar drinks. And for a mega trend, we have the shift from cash towards digital payments through platforms such as GCash and Maya, even in places like the Palenque. So as marketers, we need to ask, is this just temporarily popular or is consumer behavior actually changing? Because those require very different marketing decisions. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, the six forces. Now let's look at the forces of the macro environment. The important thing to remember here is that these forces do not operate independently. They interact with one another. So for example, let's say population growth increases. So that's demographic change. However, in the Philippines, we all know that the population is declining. I mean, no, the birth rate is declining. Although the population still increases, but the birth rate is declining. Ibig sabihin, kukunti na ang mga couples na nanganganak or mas gusto na lang na isa lang yung anak or mag-adopt ng pets. Okay? So that's a demographic change. More people can potentially mean more consumption, but it can also mean more waste and pollution. So that's a natural or environmental issue. Then population may lead the government to introduce stronger regulations. Diba? Now we're talking about political legal environment. Those regulations might encourage companies to develop new technologies, and thus the technological force. And if the technology becomes affordable, then it can affect the economic situation. Eventually, as people's attitudes change, we also see changes in the social, cultural environment. So you can see that one change can create a chain reaction. And that is why marketers should not look at these forces one at a time. They need to see the connections. Okay? Now, the usual framework we may encounter is PESTEL. Political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. So in this handout, we are also treating demographic as a separate factor. So you may see it referred to as the seventh factor or peso. Okay. Though yeah, peso. Although the demographic thing can be also associated with social. The important thing is not the acronym itself. The important thing is that you understand what each force can mean for a business. Okay. So next, we have demographic. Okay, let's start with the first three factors. Number one is demographic. So demographic factors involve things like population size and growth, age, education, household structure, and other characteristics of the population. And here's an important point. Population growth does not automatically mean market growth. Okay? Why? Okay. Why? Because people also need purchasing power. For example, if the population increases, but people don't have enough income to purchase the product, then the business doesn't necessarily gain a bigger market, which is totoo naman, di ba? Siyempre kapag, ayan na siyempre kapag kahit lumaking population, kung gano'n pa rin ang income, magtitipid ang mga yan, no? Lalo na kung sakto lang yung sahod. Okay? In the Philippines, we have a relatively young population, which creates opportunities for products such as school supplies, milk, gadgets, and student-oriented services. So marketers need to know who the people are and what their characteristics are. Okay, moving on to economic, number two. Economic factors are about purchasing power. We look at income, savings, debt, prices, and income distribution. If the economy is struggling, consumers may become more price sensitive. They may look for discounts. They may switch brands. They may buy smaller quantities. And this is where the Filipino concept of tingi becomes a very good example. So instead of buying a large bottle of shampoo, a family may buy sachets, syempre. Instead of buying a large package of coffee, they buy smaller portions kasi ngayon lang yung kaya ng budget. Diba? So the economic environment affects not only whether people buy, but also how they buy. Moving on to social-cultural. Okay, social or social-cultural. This one is about values, beliefs, attitudes, and the way people see themselves, other people, organizations, society, and even nature. And this is where culture becomes very important in marketing. So for example, in the Philippines, values such as utang na loob and close family relationships can influence advertising. Think about the classic Filipino advertisements that focus on family reunions, sacrifice, togetherness, and relationships. They aren't simply selling a product. They're connecting the product with something culturally meaningful. So marketers need to understand not only what people can afford, but also what people value. Okay? Moving on to the next slide. Okay, we have 4 natural, 5 technological, and 6 political legal. Okay, so number 4 is natural or environmental. So this includes things such as the availability of raw materials, energy costs, pollution, and environmental protection. And increasingly, consumers are paying attention to how companies affect the environment. But there's an important warning here, which is greenwashing. Greenwashing happens when a company makes environmental claims that are exaggerated or cannot really be verified. So, bad yun. Okay? Kunwari lang na ah, gumagawa ng efforts para um, maging environmental friendly pero hindi naman pala talaga yon ang exaggerated lang siya. So just because the product has green packaging and says eco-friendly doesn't automatically mean it is environmentally responsible. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. Marketers need to make sure their claims are credible. So in the Philippines, plastic bag bans, and waste segregation policies have affected how business operate, no? Some retailers have shifted toward paper bags or reusable bags because of these environmental and regulatory pressures. Yon. But again, be careful of greenwashing. So number 5 is technological. So technology is what the slide calls a creative destroyer. Bakit kaya? Meaning technology creates new opportunities, but it can also destroy or replace existing businesses and industries. So think about what happened to companies that failed to adapt to digital technology. So a business can be successful today, but if it refuses to adapt to major technological changes, it can eventually lose its customers. Okay? A very local example is the increasing use of GCash and QR payments. So some traditional vendors who initially resisted digital payments may find themselves losing younger customers who prefer cashless transactions. So marketers have to continually ask, what new technology is changing customer behavior? Okay, so you should be aware. As marketers, you need to you need to know what is happening outside your circle. What I mean is, it would be better if you would read news or articles related to businesses, no, or some business magazines, so that you can understand the perspective of marketers. What else? You also need to be aware of our pol- uh, political climate, right? You also need to know about um, the latest advertisements on TV, commercials. Bakit ganito? Bakit ganyan? No? So that you can, when you see a commercial, at least as a marketer, you could understand, if you could understand the reason behind why this advertisement or commercial is good, then you are slowly becoming a professional marketer. Okay? When you somehow critic the ads or critic the trends or viral videos, or you already understand, or you notice some changes in consumer behavior, then ibig sabihin, unti-unti nyo nang nai-embed sa sarili ninyo ang pagiging marketer. Okay? So moving on to political legal. So this involves laws, government agencies, regulations, and advocacy groups that affect businesses and marketing. So for example, companies have to follow laws related to consumer protection and data privacy. So in the Philippines, we have the Data Privacy Act, or RA 10173. So if a company collects customer information, it cannot simply use that data however it wants. There are rules governing how personal information is collected, stored, and used. So again, marketers need to understand that marketing decisions don't happen in a vacuum. Government policies and laws can directly shape what a company can and cannot do. Okay? Next. So applying a pestle analysis. So, sorry. Now that we know the different forces, here's the important part. How do we usually, or how do we actually use them? This is where pestle analysis comes in. And please remember, pestle analysis is not just listing definitions. If I ask you to analyze the fast food industry and you write political factors or government policies, okay, but so what? Diba? That's not really an analysis yet. A good analysis should tell us what is happening. Is it an opportunity or a threat? And most importantly, what does this mean for the company's marketing decisions? For example, suppose you're analyzing the fast food industry and food prices are increasing. So that's an economic factor. But don't stop there. Ask, what does that mean? Maybe ingredient cost increase. Okay, ingredient costs increase. tumaas ang presyo ng mga ingredients, di ba? So the company might have to adjust pricing. Or maybe nagpalit ng portion sizes. Maybe nag-introduce ng mas affordable na menu options. Or maybe it changes its promotional strategy. Now you're actually analyzing. So for every pestle factor, connect it to something marketers can act on, which is pricing, product design, promotion, or distribution. Kumbaga, you need to conclude. Dito papasok yung analysis and conclusion ninyo. Since ito yung nakita ninyo, na point out ninyo, na identify ninyo, anong analysis niyo doon? Anong may conclude niyo doon? Bakit kaya ganun, 'di ba? Ganun yung and kung bakit ganun, anong pwede nating gawin bilang marketer? So, that's a test of a good analysis. Okay? Again, every pestle factor, connect it to something marketers can act on, which is pricing, product design, promotion, or distribution. Okay? Uh, if you can if you can copy your paragraph and use it for any industry without changing a single word, then you're probably just defining the concept rather than analyzing it. Tandaan niyo yan, ha? If your paragraph would be copied to any other industry, kapag pare-parehas lang yung pag-applicable pa rin siya sa ibang industry na hindi ka nag-change ng wordings, ibig sabihin, hindi iyan analysis. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. Moving on. Okay. Activity 2, I will be posting that na lang. So, what are our key takeaways? What to carry forward, okay? So before we finish, let's summarize the major things that I want you to remember from this topic. So first, information is a system. Internal records, marketing intelligence, and marketing research all contribute to better decisions. Second, watch happenings, not just results. As marketers, we shouldn't only look at sales numbers. We should also pay attention to what's happening around the company. Third, know what kind of change you're seeing. Is it a fad, trend, or mega trend? Because each one requires a different strategic response. Fourth, remember that the macro environment is interconnected. Demographic, economic, social-cultural, natural, technological, political, legal forces can influence one another. And fifth, define your market carefully. If you define your market too narrowly, you might miss a bigger opportunity. And finally, and probably the most important one, analysis means so what? Whenever you identify a factor, don't stop there. You need to ask, so what does this mean for the business? So what should the marketer do? That's where marketing management really begins. Okay? And of course, our references. So our main reference is Kotler and Keller, Marketing Management. Okay? So ayan. And of course, Data Privacy Act of 2012 and PSA. So that's it. I will be posting a a question regarding this one. And yep, most probably if we will have classes, I will just announce it. Okay. We still have topics 3 and 4 for midterms. So again, if you have any questions, just comment on the Google Classroom. So see you around.